I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. Music is power, it's emotional and transformative. It can change your worldviews or make a bad day brighter. Unison Chamber Music Collective is on a mission to bring the beauty of classical music to those who can feel disregarded by society, to open horizons, make meaningful connections, and build community.
Today is our annual fundraising gala. This is a celebration of and in support of our work at Unison. I'll be performing a recital with some dear colleagues. Serena Zhang will be joining me on the piano, as well as my friend Anda Zhang, who will be joining me on violin. I'm also playing a solo violin piece by the amazing composer Paula Marquez called The Voice of Silence.
Unison Chamber Music Collective was founded on the belief that music belongs everywhere and for everyone. So we have performances and creative programs in shelters, recovery centers, and correctional facilities, and we seek to reimagine where classical music is presented and who it is for.
And I really founded the organization out of my own belief that music has the power to heal us and bring us all together. We try to make it as co-created as possible. We're talking about the music, we are writing about it together, we are drawing pictures as we're playing. We're really trying to create pathways to create this music as a community and to disband any differentiation between performer and audience member.
We really are engaging with people who are dealing with significant challenges and who really need support and connection and a sense of belonging and friendship. And I think that music really is one of the best ways to connect with other people.
Over 5 years ago, it was decided that a complicated development project would make it safer and easier for people to cross from Barton to Bandemer Park. In June of 2025, ground broke and the new pedestrian tunnel was underway, with a 2-day closure of one of Michigan's most used railways. And now this area is a destination for travelers of all kinds.
We're celebrating the opening of the Barton-Bandemer pedestrian tunnel. It's part of the border-to-border trail. People wanted to cross at this location, and one of the best things you can do in planning is listen to what people are already doing. So, there was a desire here to cross, which is why we invested the resources to make that crossing formalized.
It improves safety, it improves health, it improves our access to nature.
Making the trail with gentle grades, open sight lines, it makes the trail usable by people of all walks of life and different abilities.
It's so tucked away perfectly. It actually adds to and enhances the environment already here. Ode to Huron is meant to bring in the natural elements of outside, but I wanted to bring that crossroad between nature and man-made. So whether they're visually getting the break from the outdoors and the environment, it's still brought in with them. They're seeing the river, they're seeing all of the ecosystem around it.
That lighting should help improve the safety, and it'll also backlight some of the artwork, which will be a pretty neat experience, so be sure to come and check that out. It gives you access to what's in your backyard. City of Ann Arbor has a great park system. The border-to-border trail connects beyond the city limits, so you can go explore your neighboring communities, maybe discover some parks and places that you didn't know were there.
1, 2, 3.
StudentCam, C-SPAN's annual documentary competition, asks students grades 6 through 12 to create 5 to 6 minute videos on America's 250th anniversary, exploring the American story through the Declaration of Independence. Receiving around 5,000 entries, the competition was stiff as one local student earned honorable mention for Unalienable Rights and the Tulsa Race Massacre. Joining me is Taylor Phillips, a Skyline High School student right here in Ann Arbor. Welcome to the show, Taylor.
Thank you for having me.
Taylor, tell me a little bit about yourself, your work at Skyline, this communications, media, and public policy program you're in.
Yeah, so during this process, I was a junior. I'm now about to be a senior this upcoming fall, and I'm a part of the CMPP, or Communications, Media, and Public Policy Magnet. And for our junior year, we all entered into the C-SPAN competition, and we did it individually, but we did like peer review for everyone. And we got to the option to pick whatever theme we wanted to based on the prompt. And one of the first ones that came to my mind was that moment in history surrounding the Tulsa Race Massacre. So I decided I wanted to focus on that, and there was the result of that. So.
Was the Tulsa Race Massacre something that you learned in school, or was this something that you sort of found out about your own on yourself by yourself?
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it in school for initially. I was watching some video online and someone mentioned it, so then I kind of researched more about it. And then I think it was briefly, that was like around ninth grade. And
Hmm.
then 10th grade, I think it was briefly mentioned in my American history class. But it just was something that came up initially when I was thinking about this topic. So then I got the opportunity to really dive deeper into research with it.
I think it's a great topic because I think that a lot of people don't know about it. We've heard of it, but
Mhm.
we don't know the details, right? Like even
Yeah.
I watching your documentary, I feel like I learned stuff watching it.
I'm so glad because that was like the point. Like I had never, when I first learned about it, I was just so shocked that like, oh my gosh, like not the fact that there was tragedy, but more of that there was like triumph prior to that. So that was, I think, something that I really wanted to share with other people as well.
So when you were initially like in your class and like, okay, you guys got to do this C-SPAN documentary, did you feel like inspired or were you like overwhelmed at first?
So I think first, what I did come to my mind, I was a little bit like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna go about this process or anything. But my teachers, we have co-teachers, Mr. Ross Dunbar and Miss Kate McCraw. They helped us like almost every step of the way. They gave us like, hey, when you're reaching out to people, you can like, this are some examples of some things you might say, or like when if I was looking for people to interview and stuff like that, one of my teachers helped me, and she was like, "Hey, these are a list of some other people you might want to check out or be interested in." So they were very supportive, like throughout the process, which made it a lot easier. And they also encouraged like do peer review and like give each other feedback, so we weren't just like blindly going into it, which helped a lot.
Yeah, talk about that process. So you have to come up with your initial idea. Obviously, I've made
Mhm.
documentaries type films myself, but like it's different for everybody. So you
Yeah.
come up with your initial idea and then what? You have to figure out who you're gonna what interviews you're gonna score,
Mhm.
that sort
Yeah.
of thing. And then what do you put like a sort of a preview together for your class and then you guys critique it?
Yeah, so first we started off, we emailed the people we wanted to interview, and I emailed I think about like six different people through research about people that were involved in it, and one of them responded, which was Mr. Scott Ellsworth. He was a professor at the University of Michigan, which was really helpful since it was like right local, so we could have him come into the studio. And then through my reading one of my articles, we had to do a lot of research on it. I had found someone who wrote about the experience who had been a descendant of someone from the Tulsa Race Massacre. And it was actually really hard to find his information because he was more like a student guest writer for National Geographic. So I tried to look him up. Like LinkedIn was like blocked on my computer. But I found his Instagram, so then I just DM'd him, and then he responded like a week later, which was really cool. So I set up those interviews, but while I was waiting before the interviews, all of us students had to create an introduction, which that was like a little difficult for me to do, but eventually I found the interview, like the overlay I included in my video. I was like, oh, this will be really cool. But then I saw like you have to like modify stuff more. So it's not like direct, just like, I guess plagiarism or like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
anything. So then I like found some images I wanted to add over and some like audio layers, and I was happy with it. I did have to shorten it, but I was happy with how the
Oh,
intro
you have to
turned out.
shorten it to keep in the parameters of the
Yeah.
content. Yeah. Well, I will say I was super impressed with the interviews you scored. I mean, the whole thing, I always tell people this, what's the worst that can happen? Someone's going to say no or they don't
Yeah.
respond to you. Like, I mean, you reached out to someone and he may have never responded, the descendant of the Tulsa Race
Mhm.
Massacre, and he did. And it made your
Yeah.
video so much better that he is in it.
Yes, was so grateful to have him in there. And it was really interesting because the first time we set up an interview, neither of us realized that we were in different time zones. So that, like, it was because we did that one over Zoom. It was a little bit like challenging to set it up. But then once we did get it and find, I was like, oh, yes, like some of the analogies he gave and examples were really like helpful for me to understand it, but I think as well for other people to like kind of frame it in a understandable way. So.
Can you talk about, that spark moment where you were like, okay, we're talking about America's 250th anniversary, the Declaration of Independence, and how those things connected for you to get to that Tulsa Race Massacre?
Yes, so in class we all read the Declaration of Independence together. It doubled as our gov credit, so we read a lot of different documents. So when I was reading it, the main thing that stood out to me was the part unalienable rights section talking about the life, liberty, pursuit, happiness, and I was like, huh, well, like for me, or like for me, someone that I like to research a lot of African American history and just in general was one of my favorite classes. So I was like, well, like this has happened for a lot of people that look like me, or in history, I've seen a lot of examples of that, and that was like the first like real like tangible example that came to my mind because I was like, this doesn't really like add up. So then I knew I wanted to talk about like that relation and correlation to it.
Well, let's watch Unalienable Rights and the Tulsa Race Massacre.
I will never forget the violence of the white mob when we left our home. I still see black men being shot, black bodies lying in the street. I still smell smoke and see fire. I still see black businesses being burned. I still hear airplanes flying overhead. I hear the screams. I have lived through the massacre every day. Our country may forget this history, but I cannot. I will not, and other survivors do not, and our descendants do not.
In 1921, the Tulsa Race Massacre became one of the worst single incidents of racial violence in all of American history.
During the course of about 14 hours, more than 1,000 African American homes and businesses were looted and burned to the ground by a mob of whites with the assistance of white members of the Tulsa police force. 40 square blocks were obliterated. 10,000 people were made homeless. And the massacre itself, we don't know. Hundreds were injured. We don't know to this day how many people were killed. Reasonable estimates go from maybe 75 to as many as 300, but it's something we just simply don't know. Ultimately, the massacre got down to an attempt by a white mob to lynch a young black teenager, and there were African American World War I veterans who were determined to stop that lynching. Fighting went off, and that's really what launched the whole thing.
The Tulsa Race Massacre didn't only have immediate effects on the community, it impacted it generationally.
The amount of wealth that was lost, and the staff at National Geographic had did some work and trying to figure out what was the amount of generational wealth that was lost during the massacre. They came up with a figure of over $600 million.
That's generations of college tuition, seed money, new business ventures, but all those opportunities were stolen from them.
I am related to J.B. Stratford, who was sort of known as the architect of Black Wall Street, or known as one of the architects of Black Wall Street. J.B. had multiple businesses. He had rental property, owned a hotel called the Stratford Hotel, and at the time it was the largest hotel in the country. If you put that in perspective, just using J.B. as an example, the Stratford Hotel could be like a Hilton or a Hyatt or one of the main chain hotels right now if the massacre never took place.
Astonishingly, they rose from the ashes. Almost immediately, they rebuilt without resources or support from external places or the community that denied them. Key spaces in Greenland, such as the Dreamland Theater, reopened.
But they had no money, they'd lost all of their savings. They built with scraps of lumber, anything that they could find. It was a long, slow process, and just because of the wealth that was lost.
While their resilience shone through, for many, they could no longer call Greenwood home. And today, we still see barriers set in place that make the goal of success for Black business owners just as hard.
In a 2021 report on firms owned by people of color, it was revealed that Black-owned applicant firms were half as likely as white-owned applicant firms to be fully approved for loans, lines of credit, and cash advances. A lot of times these circumstances happen when the Black applicants were just as or even more qualified based on industry standard. And in 2024, a lending tree analysis revealed that Black-owned businesses were denied at a significantly higher rate than any other race, showing that it's not only an issue of our past, it's an issue that continues to bind up opportunities for unalienable rights. Life was taken from them, liberty stolen. The shame of the massacre left their community divided, and the pursuit of happiness was forever marked with the memories of that treacherous night. While Thomas Jefferson produced these pivotal words in the Declaration of Independence, almost a century ahead, his influences bring a new level of depth to the tragedy. John Locke, the English Enlightenment thinker, originally coined the phrase life, liberty, and estate, or property. I've seen these unalienable rights become alienable time and time again.
You know, the United States has always been both a great promise, a great shining beacon on the one hand to the world, but it's also been a situation where we haven't lived up ever to our founding principles fully. You know, all men are created equal is really with an asterisk by it. Does not apply to African Americans, Indigenous Americans, women, and whatnot.
How can we move forward when every day there are reminders of opportunities that could have been and barriers yet to be lifted?
We're here with Taylor, and she was talking about her beautifully made documentary. Have you ever made done any filmmaking stuff before, Taylor?
No, this was my first experience.
I was really impressed with what you came up with. Like, there was a couple things in there where, you know, as someone that edits a lot, it can be hard to fill space when you're in editing, right? And like, you had to come up with some kind of cool solutions. Like, one of the things I really liked was your dry erase board idea. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, like I was a little bit worried. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna make this interesting, but something we do in class every day is we always watch CNN 10 videos every day. And then before we even like found out about the prompt for the competition, we just like watched lots of different videos from like other themes in the past. And I was like, the ones that were most engaging for me were when it wasn't just like someone talking for a long time or just like pictures. So I just was thinking about like, oh, from memory or things that I'm like, oh, I feel like this would be fun to do, something that's like different that can catch my eye if I was watching it. So
It
yeah, I
worked.
liked it. Okay, that's good.
It worked. It was really, I loved the idea because you can really be locked in with like these historical things. Like you said, you can't plagiarize, you can get historical footage, but you have to sort of make it your own, right?
Yeah.
And so then you're like, okay, well, now I got this spot where someone's talking or you're talking or whoever it might be. And now I have to come up with the solution. What do I show? These are like the tough things that happen when you have a job like this and you have to think about these things. Do you think you're inspired to continue to to make films like this?
Well, I had fun in the process. The editing for sure was the most like tedious and like I guess like more annoying part of it because I was like, man, this is not exactly how it was in my head or like stuff like that. So I don't know necessarily on the I guess like editing production aspect, but I do have a lot of fun just like making little things with my siblings and I my favorite part was definitely like the conversations I got to have with people that I interviewed and just learning more about like even beyond relating to the Tulsa Massacre, like their experiences and stuff. I had a lot of fun doing that. So I could see myself doing that or something similar in the future.
Yeah, so that these magnet classes really do sort of work at
Yeah.
Skyline.
And it
Okay,
was like,
because you are getting to the point now where you're going to have to start making decisions about your future,
yes,
right? You're right there.
before I enrolled in the magnet, because it's kind of like a lottery, but it's not really. You just apply which one you want to be in. And freshman year before that, I had no idea at all like what I wanted to do with my future. Like I knew I didn't want to do medical stuff. Like my mom's a doctor. And I was like, ah, not for me. I didn't want to do engineering, and I was like, okay, business is cool, but I wasn't really into that. And that was the other magnets. And I was like, this one seems like I like doing creative things. Like I love to dance and like do music and like arts type of stuff. And that would seem like the most creative-esque one. So I was like, you know what? I'll just do it. And like I could see myself doing something like in the broader media film or media space. So
Yeah.
I feel like it helped me kind of like hone in on that more, and I appreciate that a lot.
Well, talk about how did you find out that you got honorable mention, which is a huge deal. There's a lot of kids that
Mhm.
enter. Like you said, everyone in that magnet entered.
Yeah. So I I my teachers found out first. I was walking down because that's my second hour, like the stairs, and I was like talking to my friend, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and then my teacher was like, "Taylor," like, and I was like, "Hello, like, is something wrong?" And then she's like, "Did you read your email?" I was like, "No, I didn't see my email or anything." So then I went in the room, and it was like on the projector screen for that class. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "Oh wow." So I
That's
was like a little
amazing.
bit shocked. It was exciting. Then I like saw my email after, but it was like so my teacher had like told me first and like I saw on the screen.
That's really cool, though. I mean, I think for you, up into that point in your life, you're probably like, this is one of the best things that's ever happened to me to like work hard. You put
Hmm.
a lot of work into that. And to see your work sort of come to fruition and people take notice, that
Hmm.
feels good.
Yeah, I feel like for me it was more of not necessarily like a confidence booster, but something that it like showed me that like it's good to just like regardless of how you think your outcome, just like try new things and like take new chances because you never know like what good can come out of it. Like for example with the interviews, like I might have not got a lot of responses, but the ones I did provided like great new experiences for that, and it just like encouraged me to like keep trying new things and like putting myself out there even more.
So when you found out, and then you had like a rep from C-SPAN come to the school, some people, some movers and shakers in the city of Ann Arbor. Tell me about that.
Yes, so I think it was about a couple weeks later or like a month later, they had come into for we scheduled a specific day where they came to give me the honor for it. And my parents were also there supporting me. Then, so I believe her name was Rachel Katz from C-SPAN came and she like kind of like gave the broad overview like what the competition was, and we watched my video, everyone in the class and that was there, and then some people from like the community and I think some like representatives in Michigan like came and like gave me like certificates and like plaques and stuff like that, and then we just like took pictures and I just talked to them like also. But it was like cool to see my videos. Like I'm someone who's like I'm not really shy, but like all eyes on me for specific stuff like that was like a little bit like yeah, like out of my shell, but I still had a good time and I got to have like even more good conversations with different people. So
Yeah. I also like that you chose to be on camera in it too. I think that helps
mhm.
move the story along in a nice way.
Yeah.
And it helped us to get to see you and get to know you, the filmmaker too.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I wanted to do that so it would be a little more personal. Like it's not just like, oh, these people or like my classmates could see like, yeah, oh yeah, I know that I recognize that person. So yeah, I chose to do that part for the narration.
Can you discuss bringing this topic to light? We're just about out of time. And talk about bringing
Mhm.
this topic to light and what you hope that talking about it more can do for race relations in the future, because we all know, and I'm
Mhm.
sure you know, even as
Yeah.
someone in high school, that we're in a more volatile race situation in 2026 than we were maybe 10 years ago. And
Hmm.
it's sad. And nope, and
Yeah.
like people like me don't understand why it's happening and why it's like these people now all of a sudden are racist that maybe we're hiding. I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
know. Yeah.
And like now, like talking about the past, I think helps people sort of see the error of their
Yeah.
ways.
I definitely agree with that because something like While I something that I guess let me see how to rephrase this. I think, like learning about how they were really successful and how they had like, okay, lots of businesses and how they all like invested and poured into each other was the part that like, okay, stuck with me the most. Because like for the majority of history, I hear about a lot of the like, oh, all these bad things, all these racism and how were constantly oppressing them and stuff like that. But I didn't hear much of oh, this was a success story or this was how they succeeded. So I think for me, as someone that's African American and likes learning about my history, it stuck out to me mainly probably because of that. Because I'm like, oh wow, that was possible. Even in a time where it seems like we have more freedoms and rights today, it seemed like in that community, in that specific, I guess, bubble, it was even more successful than it is today. So it was more hopeful that we can have the successes and we should be proud of the things that we have achieved. I do think that it's kind of like while we do continue to gain more rights, it's kind of like, oh, you win the battle, but the war definitely isn't over. And they're continuous, like you said, like it seems like we might be backtracking one step forward, six steps back, and things like that. So I think, the way that America's the system overall isn't I don't know necessarily if it's ever going to be something that like inherently is made to support like minorities or anything at all, but I do feel like, coming together as like more smaller and individual communities, that is where like the great things happen specifically. So yeah.
Yeah, because then you can take the broader picture out of it and you can
Yeah.
just connect as at a
Hmm.
small level in the community and then forget about, not forget, but like make your community a more positive place than maybe some other places are.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Taylor. I really loved your film. I think you did a beautiful job and you deserve all the accolades.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember, like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching and tune in next time to FYI.